Hello, happy Thursday, and welcome to the CM Super League. And I thought, as per the little write-up, for those of you who saw it on YouTube, I was going to be flying solo tonight. But no, if ever there was going to be a man step up to the plate in my hour or so of need, it was not just going to be any man. It was going to be someone celebrating their birthday. So happy birthday, Gazelle's boss, Dan. How are you, buddy?
Evening, yeah, good, yeah. My birthday, so definitely deserve a win tonight. But my record on here when I do co-coms, I think it's 4 games, 4 losses. So,
oh dear. Well, let's see if we can improve that for you this evening. We are in game week 19, so we're really now approaching the business end. There's just after tonight just 7 games to go. As Dimble there, many happy returns, Dan.
Cheers.
Okay. So yeah, we really are now in the business end. Every single goal, every single point really does matter. You find yourself in 3rd position. Did you genuinely believe at the start, before a ball was kicked, that on game week, like after 18 games, this is where you'd be sat?
No, when me and Martin spoke about it, we thought the squad was good enough to maybe get to the playoffs. Then we started well, first 4, and they were like, "Oh, we could be onto something here." Then it dipped so very suddenly, and it started to go up. But it's so tight there at the moment. Like, what's it down to 10th, maybe 11th?
So let's have a look. So you're there on 30. So you had, if you focus on just the teams below you, you have 4 teams within the within a win of overtaking you, basically, and that takes you down to Haggis. If you look at 6th place, Dragons, 28, they're in that cluster of 3 teams there on 28. Goes down to 9th, Bostock, within 3 points of being there, but there's only 4 point to Badgers, so they're not out of it. Only 5 points to Celtics, so they're not out of it. It's really only Rose, Triple P, and Astor that you're saying have nothing but pride to play for.
Yeah, and then Rose went on a bit of a run, didn't they, where they won a load in a row. I think if they do that again, then they could be back in it. It could, must win for us tonight.
And when you look at the remaining fixtures starting from tonight, there's always these crucial games where other people can capitalise, and 6 points mean you're looking at Dragons Burn tonight. That's massive. You know, your game with Stanley isn't too dissimilar, really.
Right.
Crucial game for the chasing pack between Haggis and Badgers. And then with the table as it is now, that Badgers Dragons game looks big. You've got Stanley Fulchester, Burn Coast, the top two going head to head. You carry on looking down. I mean, look at that tasty looking tie next up for you away at Casuals. And then you just keep going. I mean, if we just flip to the end of the season with the table as it is now, if it remains tight, that Badgers Stanley game could absolutely have something riding on it. You've got Coast Dragons. That could absolutely have something riding on it. You actually finish at current bottom of the table, Asta. So if you need something at this point in time, you've got to be feeling relatively confident. Or Burn in a very similar position against Triple P. Vikings Haggis could be absolutely massive on the last game of the season. Same really, Casuals Fulchester. That is a huge game in prospect with how this season's panning out. So absolutely, this season is definitely going all the way to the end, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And this is the point where the way the fixtures have worked, this is where I lost my 4 in a row from tonight. So
right, okay, nice. So you're looking for both an element of retribution, but also looking for history not to repeat itself.
Yeah, if I can get over this one, that's a big one for us tonight. I think it puts a bit of a gap in there. But saying that, if Bostock beat us, then like you said, they're 6 or 7 back, but suddenly they're not. Suddenly they're 4 because the way it's worked. So yeah, every game now is a big one for us. We've got some until we play Asta on the last day, but like we said, Asta went well last week. There's nothing stopping them going on a bit of a run themselves. And if they keep up on the last day to not finish bottom.
Well, this is it. You know, we're writing those 3 teams off from chasing the playoffs, but they've still got plenty to play for themselves. In a slight change to how we normally do things, Dan, mainly because of the impromptu nature of me getting the late shout for the parents' evening this evening, I've done something a little bit different. Before we kick off, let's just see how this pans out. I've got all the team news that hasn't been posted online ready to flash up. So they're in club order. So let's start with Asta. And this is all based on their result last week. So if we just flash those up quickly and remind ourselves that they did beat Stanley 2-0. So we've got the Asta board. We're absolutely delighted, as you can imagine, with that result. But not only that, but Chiesa came out in the media and was ecstatic in the change of fortunes for the club. And that links into what you were saying about them potentially going on a bit of a run now.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, like we said, they've always had the squad there, haven't they? If he's got the formation right and the instructions right, they could be dangerous.
As next up on the list is news from Northern Burn. So we start with the board being unhappy with the performance in losing to rivals. Did you consider yourself rivals at the start of the season?
No.
Well, you made the Burn board very upset. However, news for Ian is that Bonera's recent performances in training should be rewarded with an extended run in the first team. So with Burn, despite losing quite heavily, 4-1, they still sit top and in quite a comfortable position, aren't they?
Yeah, they've been good all season. It was a strange game last week. I think when we looked back at the stats, it was actually quite a level game. We just seemed to put away four chances in very quick succession and then shut up the game. And I think he made a couple of tactical tweaks. I know he took off a couple of players with this week in mind. So, yeah.
Next up, we've got the Casuals. And we start with their board. They were unhappy, losing 3-2 to White Rose. It was an entertaining game round on Sunday, wasn't it? I remember lots of goals flying in all over the shop. But that's not their only piece of news. The former club manager has indicated if he was still managing Casuals, Lilian Thuram's complacency during recent games would be stamped out in no time. Do you consider Lilian Thuram something of a complacent defender?
No, not at all. I think what's the reply you can give them? That's why they're a former manager. I think that's.
I think basically, if this was the modern day Football Manager, Hodgie would be writing something along the lines of "Go fuck yourself." That's for sure. But yeah, Lilian Thuram coming under a bit of fire in the media. Next up, and quite a few bits of news here for the Celtic Pirates. So we start with the board being very unhappy, losing 2-0 to the Dragons, but that was not all. I teased a few bits in the group chat earlier. The Celtic supporters gathered outside the training ground to protest against Greavesy's poor handling of club affairs. But just to balance it a little bit, Jamie Langfield's recent performances got a glowing reference from the assistant manager. Is Greavesy under significant pressure there in 11th place?
He's not out of it, is he? Definitely not. And it's a strange one because we played him the week before and he just stopped us from doing anything. Absolutely, we did nothing all game and he beat us 2-0. It was one of the probably his most comfortable games all season. And I made no changes and then we beat Northern Burn 4-1. So, but strangely, then last week he changed what he was doing and went for formation and then lost again. So, not really sure.
What I was hoping would happen with this little segment is it would get people talking in the chat. Steve Wright on the previous one regarding Thuram playing on his own the last 2 games. Fuck the ex-player. He means ex-manager. What else we got? As for the most recent news, Duggan straight in there, #PRG out. And Alf trying to find the comical side. Who is Greavesy having an affair with? And Evening Smuts, who is not happy about losing his Predictions League top spot. Next up on the list,
doesn't he go 2-1 every week to the home side?
I think it's 1-0. I think he goes 1-0. It might be 2-1, but he definitely just puts the same score for every game. Next up, we go to Coast, who have 2 pieces of news themselves this week. They were absolutely delighted with the magnificent 3-0 win, and they're very impressed with how the team is performing just at the moment. And Nicholas Anelka has been described as a goal machine by a leading television expert. His lightning pace and eye for goal continue to frighten opposing defenders. Anelka really has started to prove a point this season and looking at last season as well, hasn't he? About what really can be achieved with him. Obviously, a lot of people looking at Sigalko as probably winning the Golden Boot this year, but Anelka is doing everything in his power.
Yeah, definitely. 14 and 18, really good output from him. Yeah, he did some good stuff for us at the end of last season. They say it's difficult to keep him happy, but he seems to do all right in the Super League. He doesn't get too annoyed too often. So, yeah, keep him happy. Absolutely. And he scores goals.
Next up, so we've done Coast. Let's head over to Dragons, who just have the one piece of news this week, and that is their board were absolutely delighted with the magnificent 2-0 win over the Celtic Pirates. Full Chester themselves, just one piece of news as well. They're very unhappy losing 3-2 to Haggis. If I remember rightly, Macca said it's the first time in a while he's lost and not been angry.
That was a good game last week, that one, wasn't it? Yeah, a really good game.
It absolutely was. What we got? There's a glitch in the Matrix, says Wooder. I presume that's regarding Anelka. The expert, the leading television expert, was Roy Keane. Steve Rice saying zero assists in class. And then I don't know if you noticed, but everyone else seems to. So we got Smuts here. Dan's missus scared the shit out of me. Then thought it was last from the ring. Doug would also say you've got a fucking ghost in your house if that's not her. And that's following on from the previous one that I missed. Your missus desperate for a shout out there, Daniel.
Yeah, I should have got her to give you a wave or something, but yeah, we'd been out tonight in the cold, so she had a big hoodie on, so she did look.
So we did Fulchester. Your news, just the one for you, that your board were absolutely delighted with the 4-1 win. And then Haggis have been all over the CM news after last week. So we start with their board being delighted with the 3-2 win. And then it all turns to shit, really. So we have pretty much a season-ending injury for Tony Adams, who is out for 2 months with a fractured arm. And just when Ian thought that was all I was going to tell him, no. Facundo Sava out for 3 months with a torn groin muscle. So 2 season-ending injuries from that same game. But again, something to balance the equation. Nicolas Medina's recent performances warrant a first-team performance. But yes, 2 season-ending injuries for Haggis. And the way those two have been playing, that's massive, isn't it?
Yeah, the Sava one especially, he's been doing well for him. It's a difficult position to fill, so yeah, definitely.
Ian is asking you to get Mrs. Dan to wave.
She's gone to bed now, so.
Knew you wouldn't be. My Mrs. Love. And then Steve saying, my Mrs. loves a big hoodie too. Class the invention. So yes, 2 season-ending injuries for Haggis to contend with. They have called up. Jonathan Woodgate is one. I know he came up because it was a toss-up between him and the new signing Croser, who stays in the reserves. The other player is Amoroso, I believe, is back from the reserves and in the first team as of now. We head over to Triple P, and if you're a fan of Triple P, you might want to look away for a moment. It started with the board being upset at the manner of the 3-0 defeat to East Coast. Then the fans, towards the end of the 3-0 defeat, the supporters greeted their team's efforts with boos and jeers. And if that wasn't... Sorry?
Was that the one where you made the subs?
No, absolutely not. And if that wasn't bad enough, the dreaded vote of confidence. Is Rob on the way, Dan?
Yeah, he's an interesting one because I don't remember him losing that often, but then he finds himself in 13th, so obviously he has been, but...
Duggan there saying that's a killer for Haggis, those injuries. Did Campbell do it, or did you ask one of his... Just loving the comments there in the chat. Nearly at the end of the club. So after Triple P comes Rose. 2 bits for them. Board were delighted with the 3-2 win over Casuals. And a national newspaper has lavish praise on Dede. He's considered to be playing the best football of his career so far. He's one of these who always, in every iteration and for every club, seems to do superbly well. And an 8.5 average. He obviously missed a large part of the season with injury, and that cost Rose dear, didn't it?
It did, yeah. We had him at the end of last season. Didn't really get anything out of him, but then we weren't creating much anyway. So, yeah, always a good, decent player.
They are the same. Right, no. Lining up the firing squad. Steve saying Dede's been unreal. And Rob Sloth tarnished his legacy when he sold his soul for the Devils. Last club to have any news is Stanley, and then we can get on with the action. Their board were very unhappy in losing 2-0 to rivals Asta Athletic.
However, rivals.
Kennedy Bakasioglu's recent performances may warrant an appearance in the first team very soon. That is all of your news. You are fully up to date with all things off the pitch, CMSL. Giant sack derby and the sack race derby tonight, says Dimble. Okay, so Ghost Games permitting then, Dan. Obviously, you will be last against Stanley. I have been asked, where possible, to delay Vikings because Jens has said he's likely to miss the first game or two. Is there any way you'd like to start or let the game roll?
I would say let the game roll, but that Asta PPP game is, that's,
staring at you, is it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Let's see where the game goes.
Well, it's gone to you. So we'll start at Asta. And Alf, unsurprisingly, after such a long stretch of not winning games, one last time out, somewhat surprisingly against Stanley, although they did have to make changes with some key injuries. Asta have gone unchanged. Do you think this is the start of the comeback now for Asta?
This is a better formation for the players he's got now, definitely. He's got players in the right positions. Zanetti's always going to be good for him. He might be able to start getting stuff out of Ferguson. Robin playing there is fine. Yeah. He's doing well with it. And Zaggy's doing well for him. And having Viduka on the bench is a decent backup as well. I think that's a decent side he's got there now.
Last time these sides met, they have met twice, once in the Cup as well. Triple P have won both games. That's not a great sign for Astor, is it?
It's not. No, that Cup game was that the one where Triple P went 3-up and then, yeah,
they were 2-up.
2-up and then 2-all and then got the winner. Yeah.
Duggan asking, what has Ferguson done this season? Well, given their bottom, not a lot. 5 assists in his 18 games, but a bang-on 7 average is not what we're used to seeing from the former Rangers skipper. There was reserve action as well, so we could show these. Triple P winning that one as well, 1-0, with Kaluzhny there getting the winning goal on 90 minutes. He left it very late. So Triple P in all areas seem to have the number of Astor. Is this where it changes? Brujink likely to hit another double tonight. Hate him, says Martin. Let's have a look at Triple P then, who made a couple of changes to the side that lost 3-0. They did have 10 men for a while with Melito out. So Melito is replaced by Roque Jr. and Trezeguet comes out the squad completely. Romario taking his place, but everything else remains the same. Thoughts on the Triple P side?
I think they were still in it up until the sending off, weren't they, last week?
So they were 1-0 down, and then as soon as it went, Anelka went and got a quick fire double.
Yeah.
So this game has potential, although they're both at the bottom. It has potential to be quite a good game to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think there'll be goals in this, definitely.
When you look at the table, Astor closed the gap to 2 points now. Rob will not want to see Triple P drop to the bottom, will he?
No, definitely not. No, definitely not.
Well, let's see if it is to happen or not. A score prediction, please, Dan.
In the predictions, I went 2-1 Astor. So
2-1 to Astor. Before we kick off, we are pathetic is the words from the Triple P boss. Rob deliberately keeping Kaluzhny in the reserves is pure word I won't repeat live on air of the highest order, says Ian. Let's kick off then and see if that prediction of 2-1 Astor is correct. Nearly an opening goal for the home side. Here come Triple P with Ferguson getting involved. Unable to convert the chance. Robin then next up for the home side. T goes in the book. Dubious decision, but not capitalised on by the away side. And there it is. Roy Mackay opens the scoring. And it certainly won't be 2-1 to Astor as Mackay scores a second. He is arguably Triple P's best player this season. He always seems to pop up with a goal. And he's got 2 tonight as we reach half-time in what has been a chess match, shall we say. But Roy Mackay is definitely the difference.
Yeah, the curse of the goalkeeper's got Astor again, isn't it, by the looks of it? But yeah, Roy Mackay, decent player, isn't he? Scores your goals, can play in the free or behind.
Absolutely.
What's that, 5 in 17 now? It's not horrendous.
Not for a side struggling at the bottom of the table.
No, definitely not.
Let's have a look at the Astor stats. No one rating below a 6, but very few rating above a 6 either.
Yeah,
Harry Ferguson has hardly seen the ball.
Yeah, that's huge.
And Ian Robin as well. Arguably his 2 most influential players just not seeing the ball. Rob has done a number on those 2.
Yeah, definitely. He needs to get Ferguson involved a bit more. Strange that his partner next to him, Poiret's on 23 passes, 18. So he's obviously just taking the ball off him.
Absolutely. Alf going as is. Ian saying Astor are doomed. Let's have a look at Triple P and look at the difference here. Roy Mackay, as we said, rating an 8. So Hamadic doing well. You've got Petit as well, despite his yellow card getting an 8 rating at halftime. And a much a much better share of the ball throughout the squad.
Yeah, everybody having plenty of touches there, aren't they? Some Richie Wellens with, 21 passes, 19 complete, 2 tackles, 2 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just keeping an eye on what's going on in the chat. Steve Wright saying Robin is a myth in this league. Rob saying that side should be top 6, Alf. Still waiting for a reply to my Mackay inquiry from pre-season, says Dimble. We'll just wait clarification. You can cram it up your cram hole, Dimble, says Rob. I presume he's going to go no changes, but we'll just wait for the confirmation. Can you see, is there anything in this to suggest that with Alf going as is till 60, that his side are going to get back in this?
No, I think I would have tried to do something to get Ferguson a bit in, maybe gone to 1 in the middle and seen what he could do. Rob
going as is as well, so we continue. There's Robin trying his best and almost free for Triple P. And opportunity missed just as we pause the game. So still 2-0. Robin rating a 5 now. It's getting worse. Ian Edwards has now said, I'm still waiting on a reply from Rob from season 8. Rob not the most active when it comes to replying. He has confirmed, though, that Sutton is coming on for Crespo. Even without seeing his stats, let's just bring up the condition for Alf in case he needs that to make said decision. Perez is an attacker, Viduka as well. Do you change the formation to try and alter the result here?
Yeah, I think he probably has to. I don't know what he goes, whether he goes a bit narrower with the wing backs, pulls Robin out wide left, tries to get something out of him that way.
Well, Perez is coming on for Robin. We know that much. Wait to see if there's anything else. Rob's suggesting that Mr. Edwards has bent over more people than Michael Barrymore. Where's Duggan? I'm still Nakata and Fiore for Impenza. Alf saying that's it. Ian saying so poor from Asta. Let's go over to Triple P. Strong ratings. A look at Petit there. And Mackay absolutely dominating. And Salihamidzic, all ratings gone up to a 9. Ian really is trying to pile the pressure on. Let's so poor from Asta. Sort it out, Alf. So we know Sutton is coming on for Crespo. We've been told that.
Resting him, do you think?
Possibly. Not that he needs resting on 93%, but there we go. Duggan saying Robin Hook 2-0 down. True Rob done some decent transfers too. That's it. Alf saying the game doesn't like him. So changes all made. We've resumed the action. Can Asta get themselves back in this? They have a set piece. Failed to convert it, but they come forward again. Perez has been involved since coming on the pitch. Yellow card. And should have been 2-1. But instead it's free and it's Sutton. I believe that said it's his debut. Chris Sutton on his competitive debut for Triple P has made it 3-0. And, well, that looks like curtains for Asta, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's a huge result.
I mean, Asta created more, but Triple P were just ruthless tonight.
Yeah, Rob will be really happy with that.
Duggan saying, bet Richie Wendlands has dominated Ferguson, the little gimp. Asta then, I mean, Butt's rating eventually dropping to a 5. Ferguson had made 9 passes in 90 minutes. What the fuck has Alf done to that midfield? Barry Ferguson normally has 9 passes in 9 minutes, not 90.
Yeah. Wow. No shots either from him.
Rob is very happy with that performance. Sutton is competent at this level, says Steve. Mike's saying, oh dear, Alf, that's rough. Duggan thinking Alf might be getting sacked.
The other one's in die, isn't it? Getting a 7. That's unheard of as well, isn't it?
I sent Rob some exceptionally bad Photoshop pictures of British celebrities, including Sid James in an orgy with all the Spice Girls in an effort to negotiate for Hoffland. I got no answer.
He's still looking at
him. I've just received a message from Swanee regarding the lack of prediction information. Mate, it's absolutely fine. Do not worry yourself. You're not expected to provide content. We just appreciate the fact you do what you can when you can. Whatever you're doing, Alf, stop doing it immediately. Yes, beating Cheltenham 9-0 is not the answer in the Super League, I'm afraid. As for Triple P, I mean, it's just completely different, isn't it? 8s and 9s all over the shop.
His keeper nearly had as many passes as Barry
Ferguson. That's outrageous. Duggan suggested Richie Wellens has absolutely battered Ferguson. Look at that, 34 passes, 29 completed, 5 tackles. But equally, he hasn't had any shots.
He'll be fine, mate. 3-0. He won't worry about that.
He won't worry about that in the slightest. Congratulations to Triple P. That is a huge, huge result. And there you go. Wellens and Emerson dominated Ferguson. Alf, as I said, not doing anything I haven't done in previous seasons. Duggan straight back. That's the problem. Nor in the season I got to the final. He points out. Ian passing on his tactical knowledge. Try a flat 4 in midfield and play Robin ML. You'll do better. Will Alf take it on board? Will he still be in charge when it comes to the next game? The next game tonight is Fulchester at home to the Celtics, who are without Davids and without Tristan. So they maintain their shape, make a couple of personnel changes. Well, actually, they mixed it up last time by doing the 3 up front, but they've returned back to the more sort of solid shapes. Ellis and Gattuso in front of Maldini and Vrede. They should be very difficult to break down, shouldn't they?
Yeah, this is what he did against us and absolutely stopped us from doing anything. So that's why I was a bit surprised last week when he changed it and went to 3 up top and only 1 in the centre midfield. But yeah, that, I think I said to him at the time, that 4 or 6 even is very, very strong. Especially if he's got Davids in there as well. But
absolutely. Let's some criticism of Ian giving out some tactical advice has led to I'm the champ. I should really be charging for this expertise. Last time these two sides met, Celtics did run out 1-0 winners, courtesy of a Andrei Shevchenko goal. And as for the reserve action, which, Mike, I will send the screenshots out, don't worry. Just ran out of time. It was Fulchester. With Ray Parler getting man of the match and substitute Shane Tolley with the winner. Maybe he's set. I mean, look at that. 2 starts, 2 goals and an assist. What more does Macca want? Get him up there. Get him in the team.
His stats are probably better than they normally are when he starts.
Oh, it's also worth, I forgot to mention, because he's a reserve player, it didn't really warrant it. But you'll notice the injury to Abel Xavier in Aster's reserves. He's also out for the rest of the season with a torn hamstring that he did in the reserve game.
He's had no appearances. See, I don't think he's a bad player. Right wing back, he can do you a job there, definitely.
He absolutely can. Let's have a look at... Did we actually... Yeah, we did. I was going to say, I've gone through all that. Did we actually look at the team? Let's go over to Fulchester then. Who have a raft of yellow cards, but Macca is not afraid to have, 6 first-teamers suspended for the same game. They all start, as he goes, unchanged from the defeat at home to Haggis. Slightly surprised to go unchanged after a defeat? Or when you look at how they played and individually how they played, it's, perhaps he's looked at it for it's not too bad.
Yeah, no, it wasn't too bad at all, was it, last game out? I did yeah, when I watched that one back, probably should have had a point from that, to be honest.
Mr. Edwards was surprised that Xavier thought he'd been big for him in the past. And Ian's saying Mon Rassi Suite. I think he means yeah, but there we go. And it's ghosted.
Oh.
There you go. Well, at least we know what we're ending with. Well, we say that, but we had that 2 ghost games not long ago. Okay, let's go to East Coast v Rose then. And Coast beat Triple P 3-0 last time out, as we saw. Solid ratings throughout. And Dimble goes unchanged.
Yeah, unsurprising. Yeah. They've been good past few games, haven't they? They're just going along quite nicely at the moment.
Ticking along nicely, yeah. I mean, they've scored 3 in each of their last 3 games. They've won the last 2 3-0. And but if you look at this, I mean, I appreciate that was a cup game, but they are capable of conceding a fair few as well, aren't they? Conceded 4 in 2 of the last 6.
Yeah, they are. I like that front 3 though, or the front that he plays there. That's very good.
The irony of is not lost on me of Smuts asking how I work with such an unstable save when again his version of Small Horse Invitational has corrupted and he now has to edit it all and start again. Dimble saying hashtag best defensive, or asterisk best defensive record. But it is a strong looking side. And as you say, Larson, although not new to the Super League, I've been impressed with his last couple of games since he's got back in the team. And he's, it's nice to see a couple of different names really starting to make an impact this year.
Yeah, definitely. It's a player I like, actually. I can't remember who was on the other week saying he plays better up front, but I personally think he plays better there behind the front man.
When I had him in a very, very previous Devils team, he was very much a striker. He was the main striker. Let's have a look next then at the away side Rose. And the big news is Franca is injured but is suspended. And that has seen Finnan come in at right wing back with Zanoni moving inside. But he's still playing this atrocious anti-football system.
Yeah, it's got results for him, hasn't it? I know he was getting a lot. He was getting a lot of stick, weren't he? So eventually, when he lost, he eventually changed it and then lost again. So he's just gone back to it, which is fair enough for him. We ended up something like this end of last season when we were struggling to get anything, and it worked for us. So yeah, I can't really knock him for it, to be honest. And plus, if you've got that many decent DMCs, then you might as well play them.
Absolutely, you stick to your strengths and you will be fine. The last time these sides met, Rose ran out 1-0 winners. Nicky Butts scoring and getting man of the match in what was a fairly even, but Coast just very wayward with their finishing. As for the reserve game between the two, Coast running out 1-0 winners there. Alex Pinardi scoring the winning goal. Chris Perry coming off the bench doing reasonably well. Not a bad reserve game, that.
No.
For a 1-0. Let's even. Says Steve. Steve wearing his shitty Oxford colours. So we're all in on Coast for this one. Score prediction, please, Dan.
I had 2-0 Coast, but I think it's going to be one that if Rose don't concede too early, then I could catch them here. But
if Rose don't concede, they could possibly win. Yes.
Yes.
Archibald getting the mentions. I don't care if you say it's Dudley Hill away, Steve. It's very much Oxford United colours, and that is why I'm all in on East Coast winning this one. There's Nicky Forenko putting it just over the bar, and there's Coast. Oh, unreasonably disallowed Kerr straight into an offside position. Rose tried to come back at them and take the lead instead. Yellow card handed out. A great goal denied. Here come Coast again. They want a penalty. Oh. And wow. Pellizzoli sent off.
Yeah, that's the problem when you do this formation now. What does he do from here?
Well, it's got to be Ronnie Johnson, surely. You can't sacrifice your one attacking player.
Ronnie Johnson, highest rating though. Perhaps he goes Zanoni for a keeper.
Yeah, possibly. Joe Cole as one of the lower rated. Does he come off? Maybe even moves Zanoni forward.
Yeah.
And of course, it's not just Steve who has something to think about here. It's also Dimble if he wants to change it. Finnan for Martin, Zanoni, DMR. I'm presuming, Steve, you'll want Ronnie Johnson there, if you can just confirm. He's not going to want a big gaping hole in the middle of his midfield. Arrows off DMCs.
Yeah.
Ian wanted Steve to go for it.
What, just no keeper?
That's it, mate. Arrows off. So does he want Johnson staying there then? Or is he confirming I was right by moving him there?
I think he's going to want to do that, isn't he?
Dimble wanted to keep it till half-time. I think he must want it like that. So I'm going to leave it like that. Let's slow it right down for the penalty. Has Dimble, do you think, named his penalty taker?
Well, who does he pick? Henri, Larson, both take penalties?
Steve's obviously working about 30 seconds behind me because he's saying no and then saying that's it. Let's have a look. White Rose, Nigel Martin coming on for Steve Finnan. Ortega steps up. And it's a goal. 1-0 to East Coast on 40 minutes. Oh, and they nearly get a very quick 5 second. We get to half time. And Coast, now a man and a goal to the good, Dan.
Yeah, it was quite a good performance from him, to be honest. I don't know where Rose go from here, really. That's probably the last thing they wanted, wasn't it? Was sending off. I think he'll just have to stick as is for now with what he's got.
Get through to 60 and then reevaluate the situation.
Yeah.
Let's look at the home side first, see what's going on. It's not spectacular, but it's effective. And, Anelka not seeing much of the ball in terms of passing, not doing anything in the air, but he has had, he did claim the assist for the penalty, and he has had 3 of the shots on goal with 2 on target. So he is making sure he's in the areas he's needed to be in. Yeah,
definitely. That's probably the harshest 6 I've ever seen for Biscan. 17 passes, 17 complete, 1 tackle, 1-1, 2 headers, 1-1. You get 6.
That's an outrageous 6 for Bishkan, to be fair. Unbelievable. Dimble going as is to 60. As for Rose, Vieira 6. Vieira having a Barry Ferguson performance, just doing nothing.
We always say this at half-time, though, don't we? And then he ends up getting an 8. So he obviously saves it for the second half.
Vieira is a second-half player. I'm noticing also Zanoni's fitness dropping to 84%, maybe a consideration for Steve. But he has to.
It's one for Neville.
Quite possibly. Interesting to see if Steve does react to going a goal down or if he lets it play out. Dimble saying Ronnie Johnson doing all Patrick's work. And then here we go. Long arrows to AMC. Wing backs. Oh, no, that's one too high. And Cole for Sand. Vieira centre mid.
Yeah, going for it straight away. That's good.
Right, so that's it, isn't it? So we've got long arrows to AMC on the wing backs. Sanders come on for Cole. Vieira centre mid and 2 up top. I believe that matches what Steve is looking to do. And Ian is very happy. Look at this. Fucking love it, Steve. That's the business. Do you understand why he's made these changes? And do you think that will help? Or do you think sacrificing that defensive structure may lead to more problems?
I thought he'd probably wait till 60 and then do something similar to this, but he's gone early. That's good.
And he's added an arrow to Nicky as well. let's see how that plays out then. As Dimble said, as is till 60. Oh, an opportunity there it was for Rose. So we've reached the hour mark. Cordoba goes in the book. Still 1-0 to the home side, but Rose are still in this.
Yeah, still in it. I can't see Dimble doing much here.
No. Hoffland on the bench. Should he be required from a defensive perspective? Yellow cards for Cordoba and Ortega. They won't want to be matched up and go 10v10. But you're right. I can see him keeping it as is. Potentially there's no really low ratings. There's no really low fitness. Wait to see what Dimble wants to do. While we wait, we'll head over to... Oh, no, that's it. Dimble, I'll leave it again. So he's going all the way through with that same 11. As for Rose, Guerrero's still available on the bench, as is Gary Neville, should he be required. Ronnie Johnson absolutely destroying it on his own in holding midfield. Vieira still not offering much in central midfield. Nicky Forenko still disappointing as well. Although Tony and Sand seem to be working well together up top. No real fitness concerns. Does Steve change it, or does he look at the way his side have come back into this and think, they keep playing like that, we've got a goal in us?
Yeah, I think he'll stick with it, to be honest.
Well, we will await confirmation from Steve. While I wait for that, hang on. Nicky up top. Wait, what? Nicky up top? Central Vieira AMC no arrow. I'm not sure I like that. How about you?
I wouldn't have done it, but I suppose he thinks he needs a goal, so
just sending him further forward. Well, let's see how that works. A massive open space now for Coast to dominate that midfield. And it is all the home side. Oh, it's another red card. And Dene's been sent off this time. Steve is not going to be happy at all. Evening, Swanee lad, who has just joined us. Hope all is well, mate. Seen your message earlier. Do not worry about it in the slightest. While we wait for Steve's decision here, obviously next Sunday, and there's a long way to go, but just putting it out there, there is, if things pan out the way I hope they do, there is almost certainly not going to be a show next Sunday because I will be far too busy supporting the world champions. Just throwing it out there. Obviously, that is under review because it could all be over for us on Saturday. I don't think it will personally, but there we go. See, Samuel DML one at the back. Is the word. And is seeing that it's one at the back, do you foresee Dimble doing much to react to that?
No, I think Dimble will be quite happy just to sit as is and
Duggan suggesting this is disrepute territory. Rock's asking, have you got Brazilian relatives? No, because I don't think Brazil are going to get much further, if I'm honest. They might win one more game. Steve defending himself quite rightly, fucking losing. What else can I do, you twats? Get Alf in charge. Steve's lost it. What else? What else can you? Come on. What else can you do? Maybe don't play the league's best centre back at DML. Suggests Tato. Just wait.
Get rid of him.
Just waiting for Dimble to confirm if he's changing anything. But yes, 2 sendings off is not what Rose needed to see. Roll, please, says Dimble. So let's resume the action. And there it is. Kerr makes it 2. No need to slow this game down at this stage. And our Coast about to run riot Oh, it could have been free. Perhaps should have been free. And now it is free, and it's Thierry Henry. And there's the full-time whistle. Well, it took really till Rose went down to 9 men, Dan, but Coast eventually made their dominance show.
Yeah, quite dominant in the end, wasn't it? Was it for 13 shots, 11 on target? Coast have had a couple of these, haven't they, where they've gone along quite nicely, and then something's happened to the opposition, and they've capitalised and put a few past them. So.
Absolutely. Tato says third 3-0 in a row, indeed. Haggis saying, Ian saying bad, Steve. And Smuts saying, for fuck's sake, Steve, couldn't even lose 1-0 correctly. Let's have a look. Ortega, who opened the score and gets man of the match. Bishkan, who got the harshest 6 of all time at halftime, finished on a 9 rating. They obviously decided it was wrong. Only one player, and that was Baumer, rating below an 8. Obviously, they had a vast numerical advantage, but that is as close to perfection as you're going to see, isn't it?
Yeah, very professional performance, wasn't it? Job done. As we said, they're going along nicely. They're getting a few of these everybody doing well games, aren't they?
They certainly are. Let's test your memory here, Dan. Jens has joined us. Evening, Jens. Any results before this one? What have we had so far?
Yeah, we had PPP beating Asta.
We certainly did.
What was the other one?
Who have we seen? So we had Asta, and then we had the Ghost game.
Yeah,
as well. There's definitely been a second one. Who have I forgotten already? That's bad that I can't remember. Clearly need a break. I'm sure someone will put it in the comments. It's fine. So many comments flying in. Magnus firmly back as sponsors of Rose. Fuck me, that was a bit ridiculous. That Dimble's rolling. Steve saying not angry at that. Dimble needed in this league for 2 reds to beat me. Fuck the hate. You were still in that. Could have seen you nick a goal. Weird that Coast opposition keep on getting players sent off. Mad considering who made the save. Steve paddling my stats for me. Cheers, lad. Oh, padding, sorry. That'd be funny, Duggan. What else could I have done? Shut up. Shop losing. How many reds have East Coast had this season? It's all starting. Dims, is that Kerr's 4 for 5th, 8 on the spin? Dimble's saying he's only had 3 reds against him. And then posts Kerr's form. It's okay, lads. Thanks. I'll see it at the end anyway. I'm sure there is another game that we've missed in there somewhere. We've definitely not gone 52 minutes in. I know we did a big chat at the start, but we've not even done 2 games. Surely. Anyway, White Rose's turn. Well, what can you say? What can you say about that? I mean, some of the rates aren't too bad, but it's distinctly average, but it's expected when you're playing, 50 minutes with 10 men and 20 minutes with 9.
Yeah, he was right, wasn't he? What else was he really going to do? People can mock him for playing Samuel at DML, but he didn't have a lot of other choice, did he, really?
Absolutely. Well, congratulations to Coast, who carry on just quietly going about their business, chasing a top 2 spot. No, we don't want Gazelles. So let's go to Casuals, who are away to Vikings, who timed it very well. Very well, Jens. Casuals have Buffon suspended, crucially. Decor also out. So that sees them ditch the Zepeda to the corner flag formation and go with something that we have seen already tonight. Back to their game week 3. Turam, as we saw at the start, had a little bit of criticism. He's now got a partner in Klompe. Cambiasso and Soroczynski in front of them. Zé Roberto and Zambrotta is as good a wide pair as anywhere in the league, and Clivert being supported by Claudio Lopez.
Yeah, he's gone for the 6 rectangle in the centre, really, like Celtics. Mm-hmm. Again, strong throughout. How's Clivert getting on? He's done all right, hasn't he? season?
He's doing okay. Yeah. So he's got 8 goals and 11 starts, which is not bad at all, but just a smaller than expected average rating, 736.
Yeah, it's good.
Last time these two met, it was 1-0 to Casuals. Turan getting man of the match as Comandini scored the winner. And as for the reserves, earlier this week, played out a classic 2-2. Michael Bridges getting man of the match. It was 0-0 at halftime, and all the goals coming in, if my maths, that's nice simple, a 20-minute spell of excitement. Let's have a look at the Vikings squad. And as you can see, if Casuals look like they were depleted, no Gamara, no Van Bommel, no Totti, all suspended for Vikings, with Duff Desai 1 yellow away from suspension themselves. They alter their formation slightly to the Vikings suspensions tactic. And it's not quite the 6 rectangle. It's a little bit different. But they're playing with the 2 up top still, Smith and Mpenza.
Yeah, I quite like that. That's quite a nice formation now with decent players in there. I think that they were tipped with us, weren't they? Us 2 as the bottom 2. So we've done all right.
Absolutely. And Hersey and Zizi Roberts make the bench for the first time this season. Jens saying Bridges on fire in training as well. Alf, glowing reports from our assistant. They're really trying to push Bridges to Asta. That Ado arrow, says Steve. No, okay. So, a prediction, please, for Vikings at home to Casuals.
I had it 1-1.
1-1. And absolutely nothing happens in the first 20 minutes. Vikings colours really hurt my eyes. Claudio Lopez scores for the away side. 1-0 to Casuals. And off the post, unlucky for Vikings. And there's Cambiasso on his debut to make it 2. Well, again, I'm afraid your prediction's been ruled out by half-time, Dan. But Vikings going forward, looking to get one back before the break, but could be caught on the counter. And there was Mpenza, and half-time, 2-0 to Casuals. In a game of few chances, but again, one side being ruthlessly efficient.
Yeah, Casuals finishing virtually everything, aren't they? This is really going to open the league up, isn't it?
Certainly is. Steve suggesting Hersey debut is disgusting. He would be starting for Rose if the deal we had lined up with Gazelles came off.
I can't remember what that was. What was the deal we had? we did talk about it. At one point he talked about Veron, but I don't remember.
Quinn rating of 5, just about everybody else rating 6, with the exception of Mpenza, who, despite not really doing anything other than a couple of tackles, is rating a 7.
Yeah, it's needs a bit more from him in there, doesn't it? But Mpenza and Walker especially, he's having the Barry Ferguson game in there.
Steve is saying Phillips, the Yorkshire Perlo, Veron for Mendieta and Hersey was the offer.
Yeah, Mendieta is quite important to us at the moment.
Mendieta would be starting for just about every Super League team. Quim off, says Jens. So Frankie Costanzo's coming on. Jens reacting to a poor first half performance from his goalkeeper. Just wait for confirmation if there's anything else. While we do, we'll head over to Casuals. I don't think I've seen Hodgie in the chat. But we will just flash the stats up on the screen just in case.
A couple of 6s in there, but he's going to be happy, isn't he? 2-0 at half-time. I don't think he'd be making any changes anyway.
Second change for Vikings. Zizi Roberts coming on for Alan Smith. And an arrow being added to Desai. Cannavaro for me. I presume that will be it, Jens. If you can just confirm, please, and then we will resume the action. 2 changes replacing at both ends of the pitch. Vikings goalkeeper and striker swapped.
Yeah, swapping your goalkeeper at half time is an interesting one, isn't it? I know.
Some people like to do it. I don't like to waste the substitute. However, it's completely understandable that when they're playing particularly poorly. Jens saying that's fine. So let's resume the action. See if these changes can get them back in it, or at least pull one back before the hour. Sorry. Although the away side looking dangerous. Yellow card from Penza as we pause the game on the hour mark. Vikings seeing the ball, but Casual's dangerous on the break. What would you do if you were Jens in this situation?
I think it might be time for Hersey to get his debut here. And then he's kind of got a choice, isn't he? He can play anywhere.
Yeah.
Above the halfway line, so...
I think, personally, I would be tempted to swap Hersey for... possibly swap him for... Well, Duff's rating 7, to be fair, and then drop Etsabaria back. Probably Volodenkov's the answer, isn't it?
Yeah, I reckon so, yeah.
Hersey for Volo, please, is the answer. And Etsabaria up front, on the right, with an arrow on Walker. So Jens is going for it.
Yeah, go for it. It's good.
And just very briefly look at what's going on at the casuals, so that when Hodgie watches this back, he could let us know if he would have made any changes.
I don't think he would have, to be honest, anyway.
No, nor me. With it being 2-0, we don't need to slow it down. See if Vikings can pull themselves one back. They are trying, and they have got one back. And it's debut goal for ZZ Roberts. Lehman saves, and they manage to clear. This one is not over yet. Into the final 10. Etsabaria comes forward. Roberts and Penza. Desai now. Yellow card handed out. Free kick to the home side, which Walker takes. It is all the home side right now looking for this equaliser. Free kick awarded. Flex off the wall. Now it's a corner, which is swung in. But Lehman manages to claim and set his side off on a counter. 87 now. Are we going to see late drama? Into injury time. And Vikings couldn't create that one last opportunity. Casuals come away with a huge 2-1 victory.
Huge win for Casuals. Vikings were unlucky at the end there. Created most of the chances. They were a lot better after the 60 minutes.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Let's have a look at the home side. Despite losing, Desai. Excuse me. Desai is the man who picks up man of the match. ZZ Roberts come on, scored a goal and contributed in most areas. Although you normally expect his aerial prowess to be slightly better than 25% headers won. But when you look at that, you think it's slightly unfortunate for the home side, don't you?
Yeah, they definitely deserved a point there.
Definitely deserved a point. Let's have a look at casuals then and see what they did differently. Jens Lehmann rating an 8. It was nothing special, nothing flashy, just a solid away performance, isn't it?
Yeah, job done. Yep. I'll be very happy that he held on there at the end. And as we said, that's really going to open up the league, isn't it?
It most certainly is. Congratulations to the casuals. They really want to play your game, but we really don't. So let's go to Dragons, who host Northern Burn. A lot of key players, 1 yellow away from suspension. But Duggan is having none of it. And unsurprisingly, with the exception of Lee Young-pyo coming in at left wing back, the rest of the side is unchanged.
Yeah, is this for 10? Is it?
This will be for 9.
9.
This will be for 9 in a row.
Yeah.
The last time these two sides met ended in a 1-1 draw. And the reserves also finished in a 1-1 draw. So, there you go. You've got all your stats and history to help make the prediction. Shall we have a look at the Northern Burn team, though? And after getting hammered by yourselves last time out, does it surprise you at all to see no changes?
No, hammered was a weird one because it definitely wasn't a game when you look at the stats that we hammered them at all. I think I've said before, we seem to play in like 20-minute spells. And if we get all our goals in that time, then we seem to then stop playing and just finish out the game. So, yeah, I think it was a strange game last week. I think he was right taking off Scally and Jeremy's. But it's a big test today now, isn't it? Now he's done that, he needs to get something today.
I'm just going to run and get a drink while the first half plays out. So I will be back momentarily. But before I do, and I didn't mean to hit tactics. Oh, I think that's an early penalty. I was going to ask you for a score prediction.
What did I put? I went a Dragons win here. 2-1.
Dragons win. I won't go and get the drink just yet then. I've moved it to very slow for the penalty. Constantinou scores for the Dragons. And it's 1-0 to the home side. I might just wait till half-time now, see what plays out. Gerrard given a warning as Byrne come forward. Oh, good opportunity. Yellow card for Sami Hyypiä. 35 now on the clock as Sigalko gets involved. 4 minutes to be added on at the end of the half. Oh, and there was Sigalko. And we've reached half-time with the score at 1 apiece. Dragons did look like they'd slightly had the better of it, and that early goal gave them something to hold on to. But Byrne did start to play their way back into it, Dan.
Yeah, it's interesting now, isn't it? It looked like Byrne had a few more shots, but it says 1 shot on goal. But thought they were having a bit of a better half than that in the end. Salko getting involved. He doesn't need many chances, does he? So, yeah, they're unlucky there, really. Ian will be disappointed, but Dragons going well, as we know. So, yeah.
Very nicely timed. Let's have a look at the home side stats. And there's Roy Keane doing his job in midfield. They're rating a 9 at half-time. Gerrard as well, working ably behind him. Strong tackling stats. And that's where Dragons are battling away, because this is going to be a battle for them to hold on to this, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Like we said, Salko only needs half a chance, really, doesn't he? So, yeah, it's going to be tight.
As for the away side, Hyypiä 5, Lurson 5, Scally 5. They're being out-fought, they're being out-battled.
Yeah, I think when we just flashed up the previous meeting, didn't Hyypiä and Larson both end up on 9s? Did I see in that?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Good spot.
Yeah, so that's where he's the changes this time round. So we'll be hoping for a bit more from them.
Duggan has said as is. Just wait for Ian to confirm if he's making any changes or if he keeps faith with the starting 11.
I think he'll keep faith.
He isn't one for wholesale changes. Generally, I don't think he'll panic at 1-0 down. He'll wait till 60, review it, and go from there. Rain Man on CoCom says Jens. Ian is going as is. So let's resume the action and go to the 60-minute mark. Free kick, which Carlos takes. And now Byrne want a penalty. The referee says no. Both sides trying to create. And it's a red card for Steven Gerrard. Huge moment. Just a few minutes before the hour break as well.
Yeah, that's big. That's big.
That is huge. Because he had been performing well up to that point. Keane dropping back is the obvious answer, but do they go with Sokoviak in midfield, or do they move Ronaldinho back? What would you be doing?
Ronaldinho's on the 6, and I wonder if he'd be tempted Keane back and then next to Bowyer. Just Archie back behind.
9 in a row on hold, says Ian. Of course, then we've also got Mr. Edwards' opportunity to change things. Obviously, we're about 5 minutes away from the 60-minute mark anyway. Is this too early for him to change it, or does this offer up an opportunity?
No, I think he'll let it go for the 5 minutes, see what's going on, and then go from there, I think.
So Keane drops in, no other changes. So just like that is how we're going. You surprised that Bowyer's not even being centraled up?
Yeah, I thought he might have put him central.
Oh, hang on. Duggan's saying, sorry, Fyfie, hang on. He's changed his mind. What? Wait, what? Hang on. Cancel. Tudor for back.
Drop Tudor
in. And Ronnie DMC. That can't possibly be right. Oh, another one's just come through. Ronnie AM, no arrow. Yeah. That makes much more sense.
Yeah.
Leave it 5 minutes, says Mr. Edwards. So yes, I believe that's what Duggan wants, which looks more sensible than Ronaldinho being down here.
Yeah.
Yes, Duggan, Ron. He's just confirming Ronnie to AM. Sorry for the confusion. It's no problem. We've had worse. The cat's trying to electrocute himself by eating my phone charger wire. And we pause the game on 60 again, with Byrne having a corner kick. But we start with the home side. Vasiljuk there, Sokoviak, 2 attack-minded players. Do you foresee any additional changes here?
Unless he's just going to swap his striker. No, I don't think so. I think he'll stick with this. The only other one is dropping Keane back to DMC as well and going a bit more defensive, but I don't think so.
It would be an interesting move if he did, that's for sure. As is, says Duggan, no problem. As for Northern Byrne, then, Chiotis there, rating 6. Hippier still on a 5. Lurston still struggling as well. Scally still on a 5. There's got to be changes here, hasn't there?
I think he might do Rui Costa for Scally here.
Rui Costa for Scally would be an interesting move, but an understandable one. As is for the Dragon. Yeah, it's as is. That's right, Jens. It's Byrne we're waiting for. Let's show the conditions just in case. Nobody that particularly low. Scalco and Hippier are on yellows.
Salco should be all right. He doesn't normally have problems with yellows. So.
No, that's right. Costa for Keane. So you got the player coming on, correct?
Yeah, that's fair enough as well. Yeah, that's.
I'll just wait to see if there is any additional changes. Still very much in the balance because of that red card, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I wonder if both of them would take a point at the moment.
Well, let's ask them, see if they'll put it in the chat. Right, if we offered it right now with 30 minutes to play, would you take the draw? See which we get a reply to first.
I can't see Dragon saying yes.
Do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if he did, because he's probably certain of a certain goal. Ian wants to see the ratings again. There you go. Jens wants a redraft. And I want some original content, not everyone just copying everyone and saying the same one word. Would you be tempted to bring Casterman on in this situation?
I'd go like this, I think, but it looks like he's going for it.
Casterman is coming on for Zauri, and then that's all. Wooder saying absolutely not to the draw. Ten minutes to go. Bernard's trying to force the issue, but haven't scored as of yet. Heading towards the final moments of this game. Roy Keane now, Cafu, Constantinu. 3 minutes of additional time. We're into that now. One last chance, maybe. And on the counter. But Dragon's now countering. Lawson's booked. Free kick awarded. Ronaldinho steps up. Jeremy's got the foot in. But they hold on. And Dragons make it 9 on the bounce. And that's 2 defeats in a row now for Bern as well.
That's another big result tonight, isn't it? Another big result.
Massive. Bern were very, very quiet.
Yeah. See, Smuts is happy. What's that, 1-0? 1-0 home side.
He certainly is indeed. Yes, Rocks, 9 in a row. And this is how they managed it. Cafu getting man of the match. Littered with 7s, which is a good performance. But just a couple of 8s in those key positions. Constantinu scored the goal. Roy Keane, who threw who's in double figures for tackle attempts. Decent performance that from Dragons.
Yeah, especially with the 10 players. Definitely, you'll take that.
As for Bern, you could just see by the ratings alone, without delving too deep into it, it was just a bit average from them, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think you'll be disappointed though. I'm expecting a bit more from them, to be honest. But especially after when he rested players last week in our game.
Jens saying Cafu is a fucking DMR juggernaut. Dragons badges next week set to set the record, says Tato. And Duggan saying Constantinu, put some respect on the name. Congratulations to Dragons. As you said, that's a big win. And with Coast's performance earlier as well, not only does it keep the table itself tight, but also that gap at the top is just decreasing a little bit as well, just sucking more people in.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Every game's making our one even bigger at the moment as well, which is...
Haggis v Badgers is not going to do anything to extinguish that either. No. We are looking at the away side first. Check his form on Cafu. I'll do it at the end. Sorry, mate. I only just saw that come up. Badgers go to something of a more traditional Super League formation.
Yeah, it's a traditional one for Tato, which is unusual, but he's going well at the moment. It's that Van Bronckhorst Dyer, left and right wing back.
They are working well again, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
Lassisi and Viale in front of Frey with Kaladi in front. I think that looks quite strong. Johnson slightly further forward than normal. He's partnering Van der Vaart. I do wonder about the AM line, whether that's going to be enough to support Van Nistelrooy, but we will soon find out. Previous meetings between the sides was just a draw early in the season, 2-2, where Arnold Brugink got a double in that one. And as for the reserve fixture earlier in the week, Badgers, it was running out 1-0 winners on the night. Haggis, usual formation, but no Ryan Giggs tonight. He is unavailable. Scholes is dropped as well, as there's also changes up top with Jimenez back in the starting 11.
Yeah, the Giggs is a big miss for him, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Other than that, yeah, strong. I see Figo's in position 13 of the season or something.
He seems to feature more right wing these days than anywhere else. So maybe this is his position, and it's all just part of the rotation in the midfield that Ian seems to go with.
Yeah, he's done what's it, Michelini, the defensive midfielder.
Yeah, he's
absolutely brilliant, hasn't he, this year?
Absolutely superb. I don't think that average is nearly high enough for the performance he's put in personally.
No, definitely not. Annoyingly, he was my second pick on the drafts, and Ian took him. So
unbelievable. Tato saying Woodgate getting a game interesting, probably get a 10. Yes, as we said earlier, Woodgate, one of the two players called up to replace the two men who are out for the rest of the season. So here we are then. If I could ask you for a score prediction, please.
Let's have a look what I went for. I can't remember off the top of my head. Where are we? We are Badgers, Haggis. Went for a Haggis win. 3-1.
Haggis 3-1 win. Interesting. First chance, the game fell to the away side and they come forward again. Trying to take an early lead, but nothing inside the first 10. As Jimenez scores, I believe that was possibly from a dire cross, but Van Nistelrooy wastes no time equalising, and yet another Haggis injury. Surely not another long-term one.
Yeah, so is it Madavikia for Figo, for Rector and Figo AMC?
Quite possibly. That's not a bad shout at all. I believe news has just reached Rox as Sava's injury, as he's put RIP. And then Jimenez back in amongst the goals for Haggis. But yes, I think you're right. The obvious answer, Madavikia on, and then move Figo between the two. But Ian's not always known for doing what's obvious. He can be a bit maverick.
Yeah, definitely.
However, it is, in this occasion, as predicted. Let's resume this game. Still one apiece. Badgers come forward and it's 2-1. Van Nistelrooy scores again. Can Haggis get a quick reply the way Badgers did? No is the answer. And is it going to be free? No, it could have been, but it isn't.
Good half that. Very good.
Yes, Badgers edging it in terms of attempts. Very similar in terms of attempts on target. And ultimately, Haggis is shading this game in the key statistical areas. The only one they're behind on is the goals.
Yeah, tight game.
Here are the stats of the home side. Woodgate not impressing in his first outing. Elbert equally not doing the job required of him. Do you see any additional changes at this stage, or do you think Haggis will see how it goes to 60?
I think he'll let it roll till 60. Then I expect we'll see Shearer if it's still as is.
Quite possibly. Let's move over to Badgers while we wait an answer. And Van Nistelrooy there rating a 9. Interestingly, the two you mentioned at the start, Dyer and Van Bronckhorst, both rating 6s after that first half.
Both not involved that much, but still winning 2-1 though, so he'll be happy. Where did the assists come from?
The assists came... Yep. Joey Goodjohnson picked up one of them as well. Both managers going as is until the 60-minute mark. So we shall do that. Yellow card for Vialli. Still approaching that mark now. And there we are. 61 on the clock. As I believe that was Van der Vaart went in the book. And Haggis still needing to find a way back into it. And I think it's Shearer time.
Yeah, I think so.
couple of Michelini there still doing his job. A couple of sixes dotted throughout the team. Plenty for Ian to consider. Fitness-wise, however, not too bad. Who does Shearer come on for, in your opinion, at this stage?
It's got to be Elbert, hasn't it? It's got to be.
Elbert suggests the co-commentator, but it's actually live for Scholl. It's the first change. With Simeone going into centre midfield. And Shearer for Elbert. Jimenez on the left.
All three subs made. Interesting.
That is correct. Garbage, Campbell, utter garbage. I'm just checking. That is everything requested. Draw incoming here as per, getting battered second half, says Tato. Let's have a look at the away side. Gets out of the way. Honestly. I did do the live to... Yes. So Badgers, fairly solid ratings, although Van der Vaart still not dominating that midfield. Samac as well.
No, he was playing well as the one, wasn't he, Van der Vaart, for him?
He was. He certainly was. Fitness still not really a concern. Not that Tato cares, because he's very much fitness is a myth.
Yeah, Tato will be happy with that.
He's got the... Fermani's been good for him this season, but he dropped to the bench tonight. He could come on potentially and shore it up for them.
Yeah. He's got a whole raft of text in the chat. So.
He has, right. So VDV offer Fermani. Pull him back to DMC. Centralise Joey Johnson. Samac off for DeVio. Also, live needs to be put... Oh, yeah, I see. That is both sets of changes, I believe. So let's resume this. Badge is still a goal up. But there's the equaliser. It's Jimenez again. Oh, why am I stopping it? It's force of habit. I wanted to slow it down. 10 minutes ago, 2-2. Tato did say this would finish 2-2. Simeone booked. Offside from Alan Shearer. 3 minutes to be added on. Michelini now comes forward. And it's Shearer. He's put it wide. Now DeVio. Simeone on the counter. Yellow card dished out for Fermani. Into injury time. As the home side come forward again, it's Shearer. Foul by Johnson. This time he goes in the book. Figo floats it in, but Frey with a safe corner kick, which Vialli heads clear. And there is the full-time whistle. And as predicted by the Mystic Veg, it does finish 2-2 down.
Yeah, another decent game, wasn't it? Two very even sides. Yeah, I think Tato would be disappointed, really. He said it was going to be a draw, but I think he was hoping to hold on there.
Jan saying Michelini is everywhere. A shocking result that. Didn't see it coming at all, says Tato. Rox saying cracking Desmond. Jimenez gets man of the match for his 10-star rating after a brace tonight. And that'll do him the world of good, won't it? His first competitive goals. He's obviously scored plenty in the Cmsl Cup and did amazing job in the continental stuff. But his first domestic competitive goals.
Yeah, definitely. That's good for Haggis as well, having another striker scoring goals.
Look at those ratings, says Rox. As for the away side, again, not a terrible performance from them, but they just couldn't hold on in the end.
No, a couple of decent performances in there. Look at that. Kieran Dyer ends up with an 8.
Van Bronckhorst had a particularly quiet game by his usually high standards, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, definitely. Who did Haggis have on the right, keeping him quiet?
That would have been
Figo.
Figo. Well, Figo moved forward, didn't he? So it would have been Makadavickia.
Yeah, done well.
A 2-2 draw played out, and that brings us to what should have been the main event, but for the Ghost game. So, and it's your side up first. Gazelles hosting Stanley tonight, and you've kept the same formation, and from memory, you've kept the same team entirely.
Yeah, we've gone the same. Doesn't normally work for us, to be honest. Normally, when we stay, we go the same. We end up having a poor performance. So hopefully, something a bit different tonight. But everybody played well last week, so definitely.
Last time out, you lost 2-0 away to Bostock. As for your reserves, they drew 1 apiece. Dario Silva scoring. I mean, look at that. 2 goals in a minute between the two sides is all it took. As for your opponents, Patsazoglu suspended, Tomazi still injured, Del Piero still injured. They revert back to their narrow formation, and it's Marquinhos joining Cabello and Jax in that attacking midfield line.
Yeah, similar to what we did in the Cup the other week. Quite like the narrow formation. He's got some decent players in there, and they're strong again in that. Centre back, DMC. It's going to be another tough game. Montella's always going to get you goals as well. It's a good side, really, isn't it? Been on a bit of a poor run, but favourites at the start of the season, weren't they?
Absolutely. So I won't ask you for prediction. I'll just wish you and Scott the very best of luck. And I will see you at half-time as a first attempt goes to the away side. Now Gazelles start to come forward themselves. Busy opening 7 or 8 minutes that. But now time's starting to fly by already at 27 minutes. And now 35 as another chance for the home side is missed. But this doesn't seem to be in a half of great opportunities. As we very quickly, Dan, get to half-time.
Yeah. We haven't put away our chances, which is always a bit of a worry, especially with the 3 shots, 3 on target. As I said, we seem to play in spells, so it's a bit of a worry for us, to be honest. But quite an even game. It looked by the text, definitely.
I'm not sure I've seen Scott in the chat, but we'll do his stats first, as you've got the live feed. Nothing to overly worry about. However, when you see the players that have got this cluster of 6s there, maybe it's just something for him to consider.
Yeah, a few in there. Montella not really involved, but you won't be worried about that because, you know, you can always get a goal. I think our stats, I was going to say, are going to be very similar, and they are, yeah.
Low number of pass attempts, though.
Yeah, low numbers by Nedved, but he's got them all. He's completed them all. Expecting a bit more from him. It seems to be either him or Rivaldo have a decent game for us, but they're both not having a great game. So.
Would you like to make any half-time changes, sir?
Yeah, can I do Edilson for Saviola, please?
Edilson for anything else?
No, that's it for now. We'll go to 60.
Okay, no sign of Scott, so we will resume to 60. That just ticked over before I chance press it. Oh, big chance for Pizarro there. So we paused the game on 67 minutes, in fact, it went to. Still no goals, but a couple of 1 or 2 chances there that you potentially could have scored on another day.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be going forward for us tonight, does it? At the changes left, Liverani would go on for Neville, but Neville's having a decent game, so I think it's going to be as is for us.
As is for yourselves, and probably as is for Bostock as well. So just for when Scott watches this back, we'll show what's going on.
Actually, while we've got it, can we do longer arrows on the wing backs?
You can indeed, up to AM?
Yeah, just to try and counter the narrow.
Okay. Let's resume this then and see how the arrows affect things. If anything, it's made Stanley look a bit more dangerous. Mendieta, he's tripped, free kick awarded, which he takes himself. Shot is deflected. Heading towards the final 10 minutes now.
Yeah.
Oh, Barthez nearly caught off his line. Into the final 10. Into the final 5. Are we going to get late limbs, Dan? Yes, we are! Adilson scores! Surely the winning goal.
Needed that. Really needed that.
And Bostock come forward in Jacques Aymar. But he was under pressure, couldn't put it away. Injury time. Is there another bit of drama here? Cabello, Jacques. There's Adilson. Oh, damn that. Oh, it's 2! It's 2! His first ever for Gazelles. And in injury time, Dalmat has surely won it for the home side. Cabello puts it wide. There's the final whistle. Dan, you must be absolutely delighted.
Yeah, delighted, but feel a bit for Scott there, to be honest. He didn't deserve that at all, did he? That's we're pretty clinical though, aren't we? 6 shots on goal, 6 on target. You know, that's pretty good going. But
definitely
we didn't play
positive.
Well. Didn't play well at all.
Barthez rating a 9.
Yeah, Barthez doing. As when we said earlier about swapping your keeper at half time, he is the one that I would not swap no matter what. No matter what he was getting, he would stay out there.
Adilson off the bench to claim man of the match as well.
Yeah.
That's what you're paid the big money for. That's how you get the extended kitchen.
That's it. A goal and an assist for him. So, yeah, happy with that. That's a big win for us. A really big win. Plus, it ends my jinx of the co-coms. So, I'll be happy with that. And
Dalmat is now Smuts' mortal enemy. As for Stanley, looking at that, it's almost a case of the goalkeepers were the difference. And it's not often Oliver Kahn is the lesser of the 2 goalkeepers.
No, I'm sure in our last game as well, he was the big difference when they beat us 2-0, if I remember right. We had a storming game, we just couldn't get by him. But,
yeah, didn't he?
Yeah, not really. Yeah, they outplayed us as well. But no, I'm really happy with that. Yeah, definitely. That's again, that's done a lot for the league, hasn't it? That's going to be really tightened out.
Certainly has, and that takes us back to what was the ghost game between Fulchester and Celtics. A quick reminder of how the 2 teams looked before we kick off. Both playing 4 across the midfield. Did you have a score prediction for this one, please, Dan?
What did I do? Let's have a look. We went. Where are we? Fulchester Celtics 4-1, 2, 3, 4. I had a 1-1 here.
1-1 predicted by the co-commentator. Let's see if that proves to be the case or not. And this one should fly by, really, because I don't think either manager are in the chat, so we won't be waiting too long. But there's Celtics from Shevchenko taking the lead on 15. What have Fulchester got in response? They haven't really done that much in the opening 20 minutes or so, but they're starting to come forward a little bit. Wary of giving up space, I'd imagine, on the counter. Fine save by the Fulchester goalkeeper. Shots raining in from everywhere for both sides.
Celtics playing well. That 2 DCs, 2 DMCs, and 2 central midfielders.
It's a penalty! Oh. Maldini has been sent off. Wow.
Sorry, Greavesy, cursed you there.
So, Greasy's going to be in bed, so he's not going to make this decision. He would not go one at the back for love nor money. He hates it. So, I'm going to say Effenberg 6, Holland 6. I'm going to say like that, and then Baldini.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, definitely.
And just as Rob saying 1 at the back, no, Greasy wouldn't do that. But Duggan went with the same thing, Holland and 1 MC. So yeah, I think I'm going to go with this.
Yeah, definitely. He's had a poor run of red cards, hasn't he?
Certainly has.
Saying that though, he got one against us, and he played a lot better for the next 60 minutes. So.
Did I see that this is a penalty as well?
I didn't see.
I think it is. So I'm going to go to very slow just in case. I'll soon speed it up if I'm wrong. Yes, it is, and it's Nakata. And it's 1 apiece. just before half-time, levelled up from the penalty spot. Owen goes in the book, and it's half-time. Oh, Macca's not here. Okay, that's fine. I feel less bad about not offering him a chance to change it tactically. Very good game, this.
Yeah, good game. Yeah, lots of chances for both sides. Celtics really unlucky with the sending off because they were playing well, weren't they, up until then?
They certainly were. Just in case he is watching on from somewhere, we'll hold the full Chester stats up for 30 seconds or so. Look at Jaap Stam's performance there.
Yeah, Jaap Stam on a 9. He'll be happy with. What's Seedorf doing? 6. Oh, dear. Yeah, he's always welcome at Gazelles. Just give me a shout.
As for Celtics, whose manager is equally not here, Maldini went off having rated a 5. We've still got Stefan Effenberg struggling in midfield on his own on a 5. Let's resume the action with neither manager in attendance. Fulchester trying to take the lead again. But it's Shevchenko.
He's done it again with 10 people.
He certainly has. Again, the managers aren't here, so we'll just very briefly look at the situation. So when they watch it back, they could review what they would have done.
I'm not sure he would have made too many changes, to be honest. What's he got on the bench?
Batistuta would have come on. He always comes on. I'm sure he came on and scored in the last game. As for Celtics,
I don't think he would have changed anything. No.
No, nor do I. Let's resume the action. 1 goal in, it will slow it down. Last game of the night. Sayles has been called over. He goes in the book. Into the final 10. Do Fulchester have this one last big chance in them? Enrique. Corner kick. Into the final 5. Seedorf. Nakata. Heading. Oh, there's the equaliser! It's Luis Enrique. He's had a good season, hasn't he? 10th goal of the season from attacking midfield.
Yeah, definitely.
Effenberg, Raul. Gattuso picks it up. Stam tripped him. Beckham lines up the free kick. Nakata heads it clear. Free kick this time to Celtics. And again, Beckham takes it. Gatos into injury time. And there is the final whistle. Another result that does wonders for the league.
That's, yeah, good game again as well.
Yeah, very good game.
I wonder if Greaves had kept 11 on the pitch. Might have been different, but he'll be happy with that. 8 shots on goal, 8 on target. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's start with the home side, see what happened. Certain ratings did improve. It was still Abiati that was a bit of a letdown, but a couple of 8s in there and plenty of food for thought for Macca.
Yeah, definitely. He'll probably be quite pleased to get the draw at the end. I should imagine when he sees they went down to 10, he probably thought he was going to get the win out of that, but yeah, he'll be happy.
Shevchenko picks up man of the match, but Effenberg did struggle in midfield, didn't he?
He did, yeah, he did. It's a difficult choice, and at the time he was playing better, wasn't he, than Holland, so it's the right choice there. Veredes had another good game for him. He took him off us.
Veredes been in some decent form.
He has, yeah, he was interesting. The problem with him for us was he wasn't, I don't think he's a bad player. It's just he played them 4 2-0 losses in a row.
Yeah.
It just felt like. So when somebody came in for him, I was like, yeah, definitely. Let's give him a go somewhere else.
So the final game of the night concludes 2 apiece. And that leaves the classifiers looking like this. Aston 0, Triple P 3, Dragons 1, Burn 0, Coast 3, Rose 0, Fulchester 2, Celtics 2, Gazelles 2, Stanley 0, Haggis 2, Badgers 2, Vikings 1, Casuals 2. And that leaves the table looking like this. East Coast are now top of the table on goal difference from Northern Burn. 3 points further back. You're just 3 points off the top, Dan, in third. Dragons then up to 4th are Dragons. Remember, they did not win a game in their first 10. They have not failed to win a game in their last 9, and they are now on 31 points. Fulchester in 5th, top of a cluster of 3 sides, alongside Vikings and Haggis on 4 sides, with Casuals as well on 29. Then a 4-point gap back to Stanley and Badgers before Celtics, they're 24, Triple P 18, White Rose 17, and starting to get cut adrift again is Astor.
Yeah.
Reminder of the fixtures for Sunday. Badgers hosting Dragons, Stanley at home to Fulchester, Burn versus Coast Triple P v Haggis, Celtics host Astor, Casuals v Gazelles, and Rose versus Vikings. And just one final reminder that as this is game week 19, you have one more game week. The window shuts at the end of game week 20. So anyone who wants to complete any transfers, please negotiate them and get them done very soon. Score a lot of goals, do Fulchester, says Tato. While I click through the player stats, as we see Cafu top of the average ratings list, Dan, thank you very much again for joining. And again, happy birthday. I hope all of this, including this, has meant you've had a wonderful day.
Yeah, it's made it better, definitely. Yeah, didn't see that after, 79 minutes. I didn't think it was going to end like that. So, no, happy with that. Table's looking good for us as well. Bit of a gap now.
Triple piece. Rob asking World Cup Sunday, Fyfie, what time? The game will kick off or the round will kick off shortly after the World Cup finishes. So if that tie does go to extra time, I'm trying to think what the late game Sunday is. I can't remember off the top of my head. But if that goes to extra time, then we'll just delay kickoff a little bit. Enjoyable game week, boys. Thanks for putting on the show, says Tato. Ian, cheers, lads. Great job. Duggan, cheers, Fyfie, Dan. Dan's saying there's no World Cup Sunday, in which case, it's Friday and Saturday. Okay, excellent. In which case, it'll be normal time, Rob. There isn't one. So yes, normal time, 9 o'clock on Sunday. But yeah, any final words from yourself as I click through these player stats?
No, all good. Another good week. Another good Super League week.
Yeah,
thanks very much for doing it.
Couple of entertaining game weeks of play. Look at Michael Owen and Raquelme. Fulchester got 2 players on 7 assists this season. Unbelievable.
We weirdly don't appear in any of these. We must spread our goals and performances around because we're not on any of the pages.
You're not on any of these? Hang on. There you are. That's Bizarro.
Yeah. But if you go down to
assists,
no
one in the top 14. Pass completion,
Biaggia, 11th.
Tackles,
no. So I don't know what we're doing each week, but
dribbles.
There's
a Dilson. Shots on target. There's Nedved. Look, Nedved's not pissing about, and Rivaldo's there as well. I don't know what you're complaining at. Average rating, however, no. Your top player is currently ranked. My God, where is he?
I don't know what we're
doing. There he is. Bartes in
41st.
41st. Wow. Quality. But no, thank you, Dan. Enjoy what's left of your birthday to celebrate. Thank you very much for coming on. If you would like to do comms on Sunday, please let me know. Packs will be out depending on what time my podcast finishes tomorrow, either late tomorrow night or Saturday. But from me and from Dan, thank you very, very much for watching from Super League HQ until Sunday. Good night.
Good night all.